Today we are reviewing scientific notation and multiplying and dividing decimals. So please copy down the SBI at the top of a clean page of your math notebook. Find the product of two numbers expressed as decimals through the thousands using paper and pencil. Scientific notation. Scientific notation is an easier way to write very large and very small numbers. A number in scientific notation is written as the product of a number between 1 and 10 and a power of 10. You write the power of 10 using exponents with 10 as the base and the number of times 10 is a factor as the exponent. Example 1. Write 4.2 times 10 to the 7th in standard form. The power of 10 tells you how many places to move the decimal point. Move the decimal point to the right 7 places. And as you can see in our example to the right there, after we get past the 2, we have to go 6 more places. So we have to add 6 zeros there. Remember, the exponent does not tell you how many zeros to add. It tells you how many places to move. For the try it here, they want us to write 6.12 times 10 to the 9th in standard form. So question A, how many places to the right will the decimal move? Well, the exponent is 9, so it's going to move 9 places. Then we need to actually move it out. So if we take 6.12 times 10 to the 9th, we're moving the decimal 2 places. Once we get past the 2, that's taking up 2 of our 9 places. So we're going to add 7 zeros after that to get 9 places moved. And then we get 6,120,000,000. For C and D, it wants us to write each number in standard form. So for C, we have 5.6 times 10 to the 7th. The 7 tells us we're going to move the decimal 7 places. So it's going to go once past the 6, and then we're going to add 6 zeros. And we get 56 million. For D, we have 1.82 times 10 to the 6th. So the 6 tells us we're going to move the decimal 6 places. So after we get past the 8 and the 2, we're going to add 4 zeros. So we have a total of 6 places there. Example 2. Write 7,089,000 in scientific notation. Write 7,089,000 as a product of two numbers. The first factor is the decimal number, with 1 digit before the decimal. To write this number, move the decimal point to the left 6 spaces. As we've talked about this year, every whole number has an invisible decimal at the end, so you're just taking the decimal from behind the last 0 and moving it up to right behind the 7. The second factor is a power of 10. The exponent is the number of places the decimal point was moved. So it becomes 7.089, because you have to have all the numbers until it's just zeros left, times 10 to the 6. And that 6 tells us the decimal moved 6 places. For the try it, we're going to write 908,000 in scientific notation. How many places to the left will the decimal move? Well, if it's starting at the end of the number and we need to get it right behind the 9, it's going to move 5 places to the left. That then makes our first factor 9.08. Then the second factor is going to become 10 to the 5th, because it tells us the decimal moved 5 places. So then, for H, we're going to write out the whole answer. So 908,000 becomes 9.08 times 10 to the 5th. For I through L, we need to write each number in scientific notation. So for I, first thing we're going to do is write our first factor. So the decimal is coming from the end all the way up to right behind the 4. So it's going to be 4.23 times. We know it's going to be times 10 to something, so we got to figure out how many places did we move the decimal. Well, if it came from the end of the number, we went past 3 zeros, and then another 3 zeros, and then 2 numbers. So we moved a total of 8 places. For J, the first number in our answer is going to be 5.06 because the decimal needs to be after the first digit in the number. We always know it's going to be times 10 to the. In this case, it's going to be 7 because we moved the decimal 7 places to get it from the end of the number to right behind the 5. For K, we have 120,000. So the first factor in our answer here is going to be 1.2. So we're moving the decimal from the end of the number all the way up to between the 1 and the 2. And then it becomes times 10, in this case to the 5th, because the decimal would have moved 5 places to get from the end of the number to up in between the 1 and the 2. Finally, for L, we have 90,060,000,000. So our first factor is going to be 9.006, because we have to keep going until there are nothing but zeros left after a digit. And then again, it's going to be times 10 to some power. In this case, if we count up, we had to move a total of 10 places to get from the end of the number to in between the 9. So it becomes 10 to the 10th. All right, please make sure you have everything on here copied down and glued in your math notebook. And then please watch the next video, which is going to review multiplication and division of decimals.